I'm here with Sandeep, who's my niece-in-law, and I arrived yesterday in the United States. I think it was the 3rd of July, and they very kindly arranged a surprise party for me this evening. Looking forward to it. States on an educational visit, and I'm with my grand nieces and nephews. They're called grand nieces and nephews in the US. In the UK they're called great nieces and nephews, although as you can see none of them are particularly great or grand. They're all quite tiny and insignificant. I'm here, I'm going to teach them about the poetry of Chaucer and the poet Keats. We're going to have long discussions about the orchestral music of Robert Schumann and perhaps Felix Mendelssohn. We're going to discuss the history of early Mesopotamia. Is that right, guys?
When is he going home?
So yeah, I'm here with Jamufoy. She's very fond of me.
She's trying to make him cry.
So are you enjoying the World Cup?
I think so.
I think I'm going to be alright. Nice of you to ask. Bruises. I mean, you can't see it through the trousers, but later on, in the sequel to this video, I'm going to show the bruises that are all the way down this side.
Okay. She says okay.
It's about 4 o'clock. Yeah. She understands English perfectly, but she's just pretending that she doesn't. And you've always been naughty, haven't you? Yeah, I think Brazil are going to win. Yeah. So as part of my continuing educational tour of the United States, I'm sorry to report that here in California, despite the media's representation of it as being one of the most wealthy and prosperous and advanced civilizations in the world, there are young people who are being exploited by the worst aspects of capitalist oppression. I'm here with my good friends Nikesh and Trishan, who are doing their best to work their way through education and college and forge out a career in a very hostile economic environment, and unfortunately they've been in conditions that can only be described as Dickensian, forced to work in dark, dank conditions for one of the most cruel bosses in the known universe, without any benefits, without any breaks, very little money. I think it's probably $15 a month.
Yeah.
Don't cry. It's okay. Don't cry. Yeah. And
Just
a typical 130-hour week, would you say? Yeah.
150.
150. Yeah. And all the while, and this is the really sad part, their boss, who is also their uncle, spends his working day, which is typically 2.5 hours, counting his money. Yeah? He sits in his office, he has piles of dollar bills, he counts them 2 or 3 times each day, goes home, pausing only to brandish his whip at his staff on the way out of the door. So I'm very sorry to be reporting this. I'm very sorry that to be the bearer of bad news. I thought I would find happiness and joy in the United States, but actually that isn't the case. But the good news, boys, I'm here for you.
I'm glad you are.
myself as anything other than a member of the human race. But many years ago, when I first came across what was then the Indian community in my hometown, I found it difficult to recognise any of them because all I ever saw was the tops of their heads. And it took me several years to actually learn to identify one person from another by the shape of their head. Sometimes there was a silly noise coming out of the front, but it all sounded the same to me. But within a couple of generations, I now found that I've not seen the top of an Indian head, and I now look and I recognise people by the underside of their chins. So I don't know what these people are doing to their children, but it's not helping the cause of integration by making them all look alike. So do something about it. So one of the wonderful things about the Indian culture is the inherent respect that young people have for their elders. Even when they've been out of India for 3 or 4 generations, they still find it impossible to behave with anything other than good behaviour towards older people. These children here who live in this house at the side of me call me Dada, means grandfather. It's a term of respect in everything they do. In everything they do, they take care of me, they respect me, they understand my needs to be quiet and respected at all times. Isn't that right, guys?
Yes. Yes.
Where have they gone?
Mine's not working. Oh. Wow!
Stand back. Stand back. Liam, stand back.
I want to wash your car, dude. I want to wash your car.
No, good. Stand back.
Thank you very much indeed.